At ease, nutters, and welcome to what could potentially be a brand new series for our Dead by Daylight YouTube channel here. See, my inspiration for this new series, I always find whether this is not a killer specific thing, this is not a survivor specific thing. Hell, this isn't even a Dead by Daylight specific thing. This is just I think a PvP mindset in general for any games that are out there. But I find more often than not, whenever people lose a match, again, whether you're survivor or killer, they always find things to blame other than themselves. No one ever wants to admit, you know what, maybe I just didn't play that well, or maybe because I made this mistake here or there, that's what caused us to lose. No, it's always, oh, the killer didn't play fun, or the killer slugged us when we tried to unhook in front of them, or from the killer's perspective, oh, it's not my fault that I lost. They just gen rushed me. They did gens too fast. They after they finished a gen, they should have waited 20 seconds, did some jumping jacks, maybe some push-ups before they went and did the next gen. It's not my fault. It's their fault. I've done nothing wrong. Gamers in a nutshell. So, to kind of suggest an alternative to this, I decided I'm going to take one of my bad games. You know, no one ever wants to go back and admit, yeah, I lost, and I'm going to literally put it on display for you here. This is me losing this game of Dead by Daylight on the Dead Dog Saloon as the Demogorgon, and I lose bad. I lose pretty bad. But we're going to go through it, and we're going to look at the things that I either did wrong or could have done differently to maybe give me more of an upper hand in this trial, opposed to just, wow, these survivors did gens when I was chasing someone around the shack. How dare they mad smash uninstall? No, don't care. So let's get into it. Let's take a look. We'll start and pause as the game goes on, and we'll just talk about things. Maybe something I did poorly, something I didn't necessarily do all that well. Let's just get into it here. So the very first thing I want to look at is the perks that I have. I'm running barbecue and chili. Obvious. Anyone who knows me knows I'm going to run barbecue and chili. Save the best for last, which gives you a token, up to 8 tokens for a 5% recovery speed on hit attacks. Is pretty much standard for Demogorgon, arguably his best perk. His other second best perk, in my opinion, is Corrupt Intervention. Corrupt Intervention, which blocks off 3 of the furthest gens. You can see right up here, this white gen, that means it is blocked by Corrupt Intervention for 120 seconds. There's 2 others on the map that are like that. This basically allows Demogorgon to get his portal set up in the early game, but potentially help him in mid and end game so he can track the auras of the survivors, particularly around gens. If you're smart enough to put your portals at the gens, you can teleport around the map faster, and it's just kind of a necessity to play Demogorgon well. And finally, I have Pop Goes the Weasel, a great perk where if you know a gen is almost popped, for lack of a better word, you can go over and pop the gem, reducing it by 25% after hooking a survivor. So right away, I have the right mentality where, actually, I already want to go back for a second. I can already see one mistake. I have not pre-watched this, by the way. So I lay a portal down, which is a great thing you want to do, like I said, with Demogorgon at the start of the match. But right away, right here, this door, I should have broken it down right away. Because I was lucky enough to spawn in the shack, I could have dropped that first portal in a midsection of the map and got rid of this door within the first few seconds of the map. So there's mistake number 1 right there. So I'm looking around, again, getting portals set up. Portal number 2 there. I see the potential missed skill check over here, or the disruption from the survivor. So I head on over. Don't see anything. Think it could have been, as you just heard me say, it could have been a pebble, but don't see the survivor. So instead of wasting too much time, I get right back onto my portals right here. Actually, I paused that too early. Right there is mistake number 2. I had just set down 3 portals, one here, and then one right off screen right over here. What I should have done was when I put this portal down right here, that one that I'm standing on, I should have teleported to either this portal or my original shack portal, because that would have given me some tracking, would have opened up the portals for me to teleport to them later. And right now they're just kind of sitting there essentially being useless. Mistake number 2, didn't activate my portals right away when I should have. Right to my left, right on, oh, sorry. Right on this side is another breakable door. Really should have opened that. I have the right mindset where I'm heading upstairs right now to break this door. This door is the door that you always want to break open on the Dead Dog Saloon, and in my opinion, this door as well. Unfortunately, just wasn't thinking critically, wasn't 100% paying attention, which is kind of a theme in this particular game. Probably should have set another portal up here. Getting up to this generator, if it's one that you choose to protect right here, can be kind of a pain in the ass depending on where you're coming from. But if I had placed a portal right here, yeah, you can't really hide it. I like to try and hide my portals a little bit. Also, look at this very flattering image that I happen to freeze on. Good job, current fidget. It's not the easiest one to get up to, so I could have quickly portaled up, and like I was just about to say, it's not protected in the sense that they could see it, but in putting a portal here, you're not really going for stealth. You're more just kind of trying to quickly get up here to protect this gen as quickly as possible without necessarily going for a stealth or a hidden play. Oh, I did put a portal down. Never mind. Past fidget, you're smarter than current fidget. Don't worry about it. You're doing great, buddy. You're doing fantastic. So right there, we just heard a missed skill check. Or sorry, not a missed skill check. A hook salvo. There's at least 2 survivors here. I played that very well. She faked me out where I had the shred ready to destroy that pallet, but I thought she was going to keep running, so I canceled it, and she quickly came back and slammed the pallet down on me. Well played there. You see what I meant by should have had this door ready? And look, that portal is still inactive behind it, and we are now 1.5 minutes into this match. No portals activated. This door still up, which is just slowing me down in the long run. See? I know better here. One thing I messed up here when I'm knowing that this pallet is right here. As I was looping around here chasing the mag, I should have been prepping my shred. So that way, if she dropped the pallet, I could have shredded and destroyed it and quickly been back into chase. And if she didn't, I could have gotten a potential hit on her. But for some reason, I wasn't doing my shred. Again, the theme of this game is not thinking critically in the moment. And I'm going to pay for it here in 1 second. Boom. So if I was shredding, I could have destroyed that right there and would have already been back into a chase. I get what I was going for there. You know, that gen was almost done, and I kind of wanted to slow it down a little bit. Since I have Pop Goes the Weasel and it wasn't currently active, I don't know if it was necessarily the best use of my time. I probably would have been better off getting back into that chase, hopefully downing this mag and getting a pop on there. When you just hit the gen on without any like gen defense perks such as Pop Goes the Weasel, if I am correct, there's no initial regression on the gen, and it takes up to I believe I recently heard it was 5 minutes for a gen in an almost completed state to regress all the way back to 0. So really, I get what past fidget was going for, but not necessarily the best use of his time. A choice to be made here. We know there's a survivor over here just based on this notification. Plus, we have Mag here we're chasing the Mag in the shack. So we have to make a decision. Do we go stop this gen being worked on, but risk Meg in the shack going back to her original gen, which we know is really far? Or do we break off this and go for them? Like, you see what I mean? It's kind of this is kind of an unfortunate situation, which I believe is a butterfly effect from not preparing earlier in the early game, like I was talking about before. We get a nice little M1 here. We faked her out with the shred. She didn't know what to do, so we got her away from the window. Got an M1 on here. Had the right idea here, but was too close to the pallet, so we ended up taking the stun, even though we were getting ready to shred that pallet, knowing full well she was going to drop it. That gen, as you just said, we just walked by, very close to being done. We just had our first gen pop on the opposite part of the map, where we haven't, I think that was the guillotine gen. We haven't even been over there, and this is another common theme throughout this game. We just don't patrol the gens like we really should have been. We break off Claudette here. Meg wants to take the bait, so we go for another stack here. Not necessarily the best idea. Gets split pressure going. Multiple survivors are injured now, and gives us another stack of save the best for last. We could potentially chase both, but now we see Ash over here. And like I just said, boom. Yeah, we're going to get the M1 on him right here. But this door, which we should have opened forever ago, is closed. So that's going to slow us down drastically while we have to take a moment to break into that. And now to have to catch up to Ash. So currently sitting at 4 stacks. I've saved the best for last. But we are 3 minutes and 11 seconds into this trial with 0 hooks. Not something you want. Gen number 2 popping at 3 minutes and we'll say 18 seconds. Again, no hooks. We are at a very rough start. We finally get our first down on the Elodie. Basement is here, so we can hopefully get some basement pressure out of this, so we take her down to a more secluded area. I think I tried to go for the back hook here, but I don't think I was over far enough, and I ended up hitting the hitbox of this one, so we kind of got slid over. Not the end of the world, but you know, when you have the time, it's always nice to be able to put them on the naughty hook. Putting a portal down so we can track what's going on in the basement, and this is really bad here. Oh, I went to the wrong one. I know I didn't. So we are at 3 minutes. Oh, sorry. I have, this is my first time using this program that's allowing me to draw all this stuff, and I have everything split up over multiple monitors right now. So if you notice that I keep going back and forth weirdly with the mouse, it's because I'm confusing myself with all my monitors. What I was trying to say though, at 3 minutes and 53 seconds, we are finally activating our very first portal, which is not good. The reason we have corrupt intervention is so we can have those first 2 minutes to set up those portals and get at least 1 or 2 activated. Well, I guess 2 would be activated when you teleport, but you know what I mean. 1 or 2 sets. There we go. 1 or 2 sets of portals being activated for tracking and quick maneuvering around the map. But almost double that time later, at 4 minutes, we are activating our first portal. So we are already not using Demo's abilities to his best potential. So we don't have our map pressure, we don't have our map mobility, and as you can see already, we're not really getting around to a lot of gens that are on this map, which is why you're going to see the gens fly faster than a killer would typically like. We're heading over to this gen because Ash, but look at that. Right there. Can I go back a little bit? Hold on. Let's go back for a second. We can tell that this gen is mere seconds, if not 1 second from, obviously we know it's gonna pop, but like we can tell just from the sound that it's about 1 to 2 seconds away from popping. So I past Fidget did the thing that I know is the right play, but I don't like doing it because it doesn't work most of the time. And here's what it is. We go for the grab. We put our hand on Ash's shoulder like, hey, buddy, we're going to pick you up and take you for a ride. But even though the animation for the grab starts, Dead by Daylight says, no grab for you. We lose the grab. He pops the gen. We get the M1 for another stack of Save the Best for last, but the damage was already done by that point. A grab would have been much more beneficial. We see someone going down to the basement for the rescue, hitting our obsession, unfortunately, so we lose 2 stacks. Going into the locker, that is a DS play, which we know DS is getting changed in an upcoming patch. However, locker DSs are not being changed. So even after the DS nerf, that move that I think it was Elodie just did, there's still nothing we could have done about that. She is safe in that locker for the next 60 seconds. He tried to bait her out a little bit there, see if she'd come up behind him, but Elodie clearly knows better. I think we heard her jump out of the locker before. I just realized there, 1 gen left. We are at 4 minutes and 35 seconds. We've had 1 hook and 4 gens have been completed, and we've pretty much been in this corner of the map the entire game. Now, sometimes being in one corner of the map isn't necessarily a bad idea if you're doing a 3-gen strat, but we weren't even paying attention. Dead hard there for the rescue. We weren't even paying attention. This was, man. So we weren't even paying attention to our gens, so we don't have a 3-gen strat here. I keep trying to spit this out. Fidget, Fidget had the right idea, because if we get a shred on Claudette here, we wouldn't have lost a stack of Save the Best, and she is in a not perfectly narrow, but it is a narrower hallway, so he probably should have waited another second or so just to line up the shot, but I think the pressure was kind of getting to him here, so he goes for the shred, and as you'll see, whiff. Claudette knew it was coming, sidestep in the last second, and was able to get away. There we go. I'm not sure why the video was stuttering there. That was weird. Well, Fidget, we are down to 1 gen because we have only hooked 1 survivor. We were not splitting pressure across all of the gens. You set up portals in the early game. You didn't actually activate any of them, so there may as well just be some white blobs on the ground not doing anything. You can't get any mobility out of them. You can't get any tracking out of them. That is why, my past friend, we are at 1 gen at 4 minutes and 56 seconds with only 1 survivor on the hook. We kind of lost, I think it was Claudette again. So we're back on the mag now. Again, he keeps breaking off. I keep saying I'm talking about past Fidget, obviously. He keeps breaking off of certain chases. Luckily, mag goes into a dead end there. So we're going to get our second hook here, finally, at 5 minutes and 25 seconds into the match. But it's good to apply split pressure amongst the survivors by keeping multiple injured. That is a good idea, but at this point I think getting some hooks and some downs would have been much more beneficial to the overall game. Using pop and goes the weasel for the I believe the first time, but it doesn't really matter. Well, that was a quick fun game. Popped the gen, but they were on the other gens that we hadn't even been to, so obviously now we are in the end game with only 2 hooks on the survivors. So even though the game is not even over yet, you can already see the survivors did what they had to do. They were on gens. They weren't in chases because the killer, aka past Fidget, wasn't applying pressure to them. So why wouldn't they be sitting doing gens? I feel this is where a lot of people will cry, gen rush, gen rush. Oh wow, the survivors were gen rushing me when I was in a chase, and oh my god, it's not my fault. No, look at how past Fidget played in this game. Just like really look at what he did and what he didn't do. That is why at 6 minutes and 2 seconds we are sitting with all 5 gens done and only 2 survivors hooked throughout the game. So he learned from his past mistake. Let's go back for a second here. Oh, not back a little bit further. Okay, here we go. I'm not sure why I wouldn't have gone. He didn't go for an M1 on Ash. There's not the end of the world, but he could have easily snuck around here to grab a smack on Ash, and then even got back on the original chase just once again just to apply some split pressure on the survivors. So right there, that's why I was trying to pause it, but they wouldn't let me. Oh, I went too far back. Sorry. It's my first day. Okay, Ash, go away. I learned from my previous mistake. As I'm going around this corner, I start preparing my shred because I know this pallet is there. There's a strong chance she is waiting to drop that pallet. So when she drops the pallet, fortunately, we can immediately break it and get back into chase. This is what I should have done with the mag at the beginning of the game. At this point, I'm not even sure if Past Fidget is aware where the doors are. We didn't take a second to look at them when the gens popped. I think he got distracted by the fact that the gens had popped in his head at the time quickly. Unfortunate there. Past Fidget had the right play. Let's look at what happened here. So he baited the slide to get Ash to go across, but unfortunately, poor little Demo gets caught right here on this step, blocking his what would have been a down. That's just unfortunate, but don't worry, you got it anyway. Past Fidget, good job. Good job. Ash is down. Some of you might have been thinking, why didn't you pick up Ash and get another hook there? At this point, I'm with Past Fidget here, where it was good for him to try and get more downs on this Claudette here. We know she's injured. It's a great time to potentially get 2 downs, maybe even get 2 hooks if we're efficient, depending on where the other survivors are on the map. And that would have split the pressure halfway on the team. 2 probably working on the doors, probably having them 9-9 for being totally honest, but now they have to come in for the rescues. Yes, they are both at full health, but you can snowball from that potential by even just say you down 2 survivors and only get 1 hooked, the other survivors still have to come in for the rescue there. God, I'm playing so poorly today. Like so poorly. So we decided to go back. The 2 survivors got away from us, so may as well get the hook on Ash here before he either uses Unbreakable or someone sneaks in and picks him up. Not as much pressure as we would have liked, but it's better than 0. Can you do this? You certainly can do that. Good to know. Learning. So we know the survivors have to come in for the rescue here, and there's a door right there near the hook, unfortunately. So we don't want to go too far from it. You should have remembered that she had Dead Hard. We encountered that earlier. Once again, just getting caught up, probably in everything going on. Forgot about it. It happens. Happens to the best of us. But whenever you are aware that survivor has maybe Dead Hard, Sprint Burst, Life, any of those exhaustion perks, it's good to try and keep track of which ones they have so you can plan accordingly later on. Didn't charge the shred long enough there, unfortunately, so it broke off into an M1. Would have been, once again, as I've said earlier in this video, great to break that quickly and get back in the chase, but hey, you live and you learn. Great hit. Assumed she was going to go through the window, prepare that shred for a little baby shred, not a full-length shred, but you don't really need it at that point. Smack that hitbox as she slow vaults in, almost getting a blind there from the flashlight. I wasn't even sure where they were. Let's take another look here, because I didn't even see them there when he popped down. They must be on the side, I think, maybe somewhere over here. I'm not 100% sure where that blind was coming in at. But luckily we avoid it to get what I believe is the 4th hook of the game. I believe that was the 4th, but unfortunately it was not our 4th stack of barbecue. As you can see, we're still currently only at 3 stacks, meaning 1 survivor has not been hooked yet at all. We give a little nod there to Ash. We know what he's up to. I think Past Fidget has kind of accepted the fate at this point. Gets it down on Ash. Right at the door. I think some people be saying, why didn't Ash just leave? I think he was just trying to save his teammate, or at least maybe even be a distraction, because if he was being a distraction, it certainly worked. Borrowed time hit. We were going for the Elodie there, but borrowed time is going to save Meg there. Claudette trying to get another flashlight, the sneaky Claudette. We'll get an M1 on her, but they should be able to get out here. Claudette once again sidestepping the Shred Meg, pointing at the exit gate. She's like, I'm out of here, man. See you later. So the first 2 survivors are out. We see someone heading up to the top of the saloon there. I think it's Elodie and Ash are left in the game. I think that was Meg and Claudette that just left. But we see the blood trails. It has to be Ash. And Ash being the gem here, being the nice guy, knowing that poor Demo got kind of stomped, so he's given a little bit of a sympathy hook there. We know he doesn't have DS because he would have used it earlier, but Fidget, he thought about it for a second, but he was like, you know what? No, Ash played well. This team played well. Demogorgon didn't play so well, so even though Ash was trying to give us a a sympathy kill, being the good guy he is, we're gonna let him go, because even though Fidget just said not having a great game, but you know what? It wasn't the survivor's fault. It was 100% on the killer. Killer did not play efficiently during this trial, and that is why all 4 survivors will escape the trial. Now, I feel this is a very good example of looking back, admitting your mistakes that you made. You may not realize it in the heat of the moment, but if you go back and you look at any of your games, whether you're surviving, killing, doesn't matter. If you had a rough game and you go back and actually look at it, I guarantee you'll see mistakes that you can make that, yeah, sure, it sucks to look back and go, oh, I played so terribly. This is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. For example, I have a, if people are into this gameplay analysis, into this potential series, I actually have another nurse game ready to go. Without a doubt, the worst nurse game I have ever played. It is embarrassing to watch through, sure, but you learn a lot from looking at your mistakes. Sure, it feels great to win, celebrate, but you're really going to learn when you fail. So if you're one of those people in the playing the game, whether you're survivor, killer, this is not mutually exclusive to either side. It's not even mutually exclusive to Dead by Daylight. If you're one of those people that gets mad because you went up against a Swift, or that they did gens really quickly, go back, look at your mistakes, and analyze what you did. And I promise you, it might hurt your ego a little bit, but it will make you a better player. If you enjoyed this gameplay analysis and would love to see more of this, please let me know in the comment section down below. Hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, so you know when we post the next Dead by Daylight video. I'm working on trying to come up with some original content for YouTube right now, this potential series being one of the ideas that I've been sitting on. And hit that thumbs up button if you like this and want to see more of it as well. Graciously appreciate it. Come hang out with us on Twitch as well. We stream there 5 days a week, Wednesday through Sunday. Lots and lots of Dead by Daylight content. Got into this game this past summer. Really enjoying it. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something, and we'll see you next time.